Hello everyone! There have been no new videos on the channel for a long time. I am really sorry for that. I'm already used to the fact that for some reasons in the summer my productivity decreased a lot. Perhaps because of the heat. Or maybe I am just very lazy ass. I don't know. But since autumn is coming, I can continue to make videos for you, and today we have to review a wonderful gouache kit from Mossery company and the French artist Sibylline Maynet, and I will leave all the links to the shop in the description, so you can check the description to find all information I mentioned in this video. Okay, to begin with, I will tell you a little story related to the order of this kit. When it was announced in November of 2020, I happily went to the site and tried to order it, but in the end it turned out that there are a couple of countries like Israel and Russia that have shipping restrictions, and I asked my friend from Belgium to help me. And as a result, the package has an exciting trip from Malaysia to Belgium and from Belgium to Russia. Let's just say that this package has traveled more than we all travel this year, okay? I got it in May, but as I mentioned, the summer turned out very unproductive to me, so only now I have time to review it. Let's start by unpacking. And it should be noted that everything is packed with great love, as you are receiving an incredible gift. The kit includes the following: Halbane acrylic gouache, 10 different colors picked by Sibylline herself, a plastic eraser, washi tape, and a set of 3 brushes, and mechanical pencil with fills, but I'm not sure that I will use it because I already have few pencils, and the porcelain palette, which is highly recommended for acrylic paints. Next we have gouache practice workbook made by Sibylline. It contains a gouache practice guidebook and many pages with pre-made liner you can practice. And I think it's really great for artists who never used acrylic gouache before, or gouache and acrylic separately, which is not my case. I already have practice with gouache because in my childhood it was even more popular material than watercolors, honestly. Gouache was mainly used for making school wall newspapers, if you understand what I mean, and other decorative stuff. And I also use acrylic paints with airbrush for my BGD face-ups and sometimes as elements for watercolor paintings. And next we have Cool Merch by Sibylline Maynet. Here we have art prints, cards and sticker sheets. All are very pretty and I will find a way to use them all, trust me. And finally you can see cool sketchbook with my name, and it's really lovely. I like it like a child, sorry. And it has 300 GSM watercolor paper, which surely will be great for gouache and also watercolors. So for now, it looks like a really handy pack. First, I would read a gouache practice workbook, and just in case, because it's never wrong to learn some new details. And before starting the painting process, I want to share some small news. My YouTube channel reached 100 followers. It's not a huge number, but it's an important goal, so I want to thank you all for it. And I find it a great reason to make the first live stream here, and I will announce it soon. And I also want to thank all my patrons for their great support and invite you to join my Patreon community. You will get access to my comics, illustration, not safe for work content, and exclusive time lapses and video. To begin with, I made some raw sketches of ideas that I would like to draw and asked my patrons to vote on the options they like best. The first sketch won by a small margin. Then I digitally drew a more detailed sketch and traced it onto paper. Following the advice from the gouache practice workbook, I made a dark and bold line art of the illustration. And after I spent some time in a vain attempt to mix the lilac color from the available pens. And it turned out another color, and oh gods, it was so dark and opaque that it completely overlaid the entire line art. You should see my face that time. Okay, that wasn't funny, and after a second of panic, I realized that I would have to draw the line art again. Okay. In fact, the background was quite interesting to draw, and it allowed me to hone my ability to hold the brush more tightly and draw straight lines. As a background, I chose the building of Pandemonium, the capital of the underworld in my story, and I will mention my webtoon Pandemonium here and also put a link in the description so you can read it if you're interested. Then I switched to painting the main character, and I started with the skin tone. I don't know why, but I always start painting characters from their skin. And this color turned out to be not so opaque, and I had to apply 2 layers. The feature of acrylic gouache is that it cannot be reactivated with water, and it dries quickly, really quickly. So when I mix the paints, you can see that I try to use the minimum volume of it, and according to my observations, paints are mixed really hard. You need to be careful in the process so that there will be no colored stains of unmixed pigments, for example. And the color I have managed to use are far from the original palette I intended. Perhaps this is because of my inexperience in mixing colors or their limited numbers. I don't know, honestly. So far, my best practice in mixing colors is in watercolors, not in the acrylic gouache. So the density of the paint allows to make a flat feel, really neat, and clean lines and sharp corners. Such a great feature of this paint. And I never understand the artists who dilute gouache with water and it loses its opacity. For such purpose you have watercolors paints. And in watercolors there are not a lot of opaque paints. So why use gouache like that? Okay, never mind. And I really like the final work. Also, I have to admit some of its sloppiness caused primarily by my fear that the paint will dry while I apply it. The illustration took me a little over 3 hours, I think, which means that I need to allocate more time to work with gouache next time. And I find markers to be the fastest material with a similar flat feel effect. And the limited palette also adds some complexity. Even though the color can be mixed, I was not always able to achieve the desired tone. However, I really like the flat format or flat style of this illustration, and it was generally a good idea to have a white outline at the end. Because white outline makes everything better. So I find buying this kit a really good idea for anyone looking to try new quality materials. Also, I need to add here information about quality of Mossery sketchbook. The paper is really thick and you can actually use it on both sides. The texture of paper is very nice, and I also think to try it maybe with watercolor a little bit later. Yeah. Also some kind of side note, and I need to mention that halbite paints are pretty expensive. For example, one tube costs about $7.50, while on YouTube you can often find artists painting with jelly gouache from Himi Mia, and a set of 24 colors costs about $30. If I know right, I will put here some print screens. And I understand perfectly well that in addition to the experience of markup for a brand, a good quality product will really cost more than its analogs. This is some kind of essence of material pricing. If you ever used to paint with cheap watercolors as a child and now you have experience with the good paints, you will understand the difference perfectly. Anyway, write in the comment if you want to see another brand of gouache and comparison video. Thank you very much for watching this video and I hope you like it, and many thanks to my wonderful patrons for their support. Bye bye, see you next video.